What if I told you that the difference between success and failure isn't talent, luck, or intelligence? It's persistence. Think about it. How many times have you started something with excitement only to give up when things got tough? Maybe you tried to start a business, lose weight, or learn a new skill, but the struggles became too much. But what if I told you that the people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who never fail, but the ones who never quit? This is the story of Daniel Carter, a man who had every reason to walk away from his dream. He lost everything, faced failure after failure, and was told over and over again to give up. But he didn't. And because of that, he turned his life around. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll understand why quitting is the only thing standing between you and success. Life isn't easy. No matter who you are, you'll face struggles, setbacks, and moments where you feel completely lost. We've all been there. You work hard, you give your best, but things don't go your way. It's in these moments that most people quit. They convince themselves that success is for someone else. The lucky ones, the talented ones, the people with connections. But here's the truth. Success isn't about luck. It's about perseverance. There's a simple rule in life. If you refuse to quit, you can't fail. No matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up, you're still in the game. Today, I want to share Daniel's story with you. His journey will prove that anyone, including you, can overcome failure. But only if you have the courage to keep going when everything seems hopeless. So let's dive in. Daniel Carter was just an ordinary guy with a dream. He wasn't born rich. He didn't have powerful friends. But he had something even more valuable, a vision. Daniel wanted to start his own business. He believed that if he worked hard, he could build something great. So he spent months planning, saving every bit of money he could, and finally, he did it. He opened his first small store. It wasn't fancy, just a tiny shop on a quiet street. But to Daniel, it was everything. For the first few weeks, he waited for customers, and waited, but hardly anyone came. His savings started to run out. The rent was due. Doubt crept in. People told him, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you should just get a regular job. But Daniel wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. He tried harder. He worked longer hours. He stood outside his shop every morning, smiling at strangers, hoping someone would walk in. For a while, things started looking better. But then everything changed. Just when Daniel thought he was making progress, disaster struck. One night, a terrible storm hit the city. Heavy rain, fierce winds. It was one of the worst storms in years. Daniel stayed up all night, worried about his shop. When the storm finally passed, he rushed to see if his store had survived. His heart sank. The roof had collapsed. Water had flooded the entire shop. Shelves were broken. Products were destroyed. Everything he had worked for was gone. He sat on the sidewalk, staring at the ruins of his dream. Tears filled his eyes. This was his breaking point. He had already struggled for months, barely surviving. And now, this? For the first time, he asked himself, maybe they're right. Maybe I should quit. And honestly, no one would have blamed him. But sometimes life sends you a message when you least expect it. As Daniel sat there, broken and hopeless, an old man from the neighborhood walked up to him. He had seen everything. The old man looked at Daniel, smiled, and said, "You remind me of myself when I was your age." Daniel wiped his tears and looked up. "What do you mean?" The old man sat beside him and said, "Many years ago, I opened a small shop. Just like you. And just like you, I lost everything. A fire burned my store to the ground. I had nothing left." Daniel was silent, listening. The old man continued, "I wanted to quit, but something inside me said, try one more time. So I did. I started over from nothing. And today I own 3 successful businesses." Then he looked at Daniel, and said something he would never forget. Failure is just a test. The only way to fail is if you stop trying. Those words changed Daniel's life forever. The next morning, Daniel made a decision. He would not quit. He borrowed a small amount of money from a friend and started again, this time smarter. He learned from his mistakes. He changed his strategy. He found better ways to reach customers, and most importantly, he refused to give up no matter how hard things got. Slowly but surely, people started noticing his shop. Customers came back. Word spread. His business grew. And within a few years, Daniel didn't just rebuild his store, he expanded. He opened not one, but 3 successful businesses. The same people who once told him to quit, now they admired him. But none of this would have happened if he had given up that night. Daniel's story teaches us something powerful. Success isn't about never failing, it's about never quitting. Think about it. If Daniel had walked away that night, his story would have ended in failure. But because he kept going, he turned his biggest setback into his greatest comeback. And you can do the same. It doesn't matter how many times life knocks you down. The only thing that matters is that you get back up. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself, your greatest success might be just one more try away. Now, I have a question for you. What's the one thing you're struggling with right now? And are you willing to fight for it? If this story inspired you, I want you to write one simple sentence in the comments: I will never quit. Let the world know that you are not a quitter. You are a fighter. You are unstoppable. And if you believe in the power of persistence, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more motivational stories. Remember, success doesn't belong to the lucky, it belongs to those who refuse to give up. Until next time, keep pushing forward.